For more insight into the situation in Egypt, we're joined in the studio by Ms. Su Xiaohui from the China Institute of International Studies. Thank you very much for joining us, Ms. Su. So what other measures do you think the interim authority will take to calm the situation in the country?
Well, to calm the situation, you're right. This country has been suffering a lot from turbulence for 2 years and longer. And we know that street politics has undermined this country's situation and economy. Well, I believe the priority task for the interim government is to cease the violence and try to address the differences between different groups in this country. As we know, that Muslim Brotherhood has been calling for the military to release its leader Morsi and try to carry out a real political transition with the participation of the Muslim Brotherhood. But as for the military, recently we have seen very harsh suppression on the civilians. So I believe now both sides are in a very difficult situation to amend the gap between each other. So the interim government, the first task is to stop street politics. And the second one, it has to pay attention to the aim, how to gain legitimacy in the country. We can see that in the country, no matter who rules the country in the future, the ruling party, the ruling force needs to gain the support from its civilians. But if the turbulence continue to go on, it is quite difficult for the government to develop its economy, to improve employment, and to address people's living conditions. So it is a long-term task for anyone in this country.
Well, some major powers have voiced their concern or taken consideration of some real actions towards the situation in Egypt. Do you think the international pressure will help the situation to ease?
Well, I agree that a lot of countries have expressed their concern and their positions concerning the current developments in this country. As you may know, China has been calling for the country to calm down, all the people in this country. And as for Western countries, recently the European countries and the United States have expressed their concern about increasing turbulence in the country and more people killed in this country. But what I believe is that international mediation, international help should be based on the choice of these people. I mean that we should leave the choice to the Egyptian people to decide who will rule the country in the future. And international mediation should be also based on a neutral position. It is obvious that the Western countries, the United States and the European countries are backing the military, the secular forces, not the military, the religious ones. So we need to see more neutral and effective influences to try to help this country to build a pleasant environment to deal with its own problem.
Thank you very much indeed, Ms. Su Xiaohui from the China Institute of International Studies.